Hello, my name is Tolope and welcome to my channel where I discuss about quality improvement. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what quality improvement is and how you can start in quality improvement. From my background as a medical doctor, I've always been interested in improving services, improving the work that I do, and improving the outcomes for patients who I serve. And that led me to volunteering to become a quality improvement champion in my hospital where I worked in Lagos, Nigeria. I volunteered for a period of 3 to 6 months thereabout, and I started taking on projects that led to improvement in the services that I was rendering as a doctor, and that made me start working as a quality improvement specialist alongside with my job. So I did some groundbreaking improvement work with operations management, and then I went on to get a scholarship to study in the UK for my master's in healthcare operational management at the University of Warwick. And then I started looking out into the NHS because of that exposure into the workings of the NHS. I started looking at how I was going to improve things in the NHS, make things better. And then I applied for my current job, which is as a quality improvement lead. So I applied, I got the offer, and I've been working for the past 2+ years now for the trust across 4 different sites where I improve services alongside clinicians, doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, pharmacists, you name it. I've been working with people in operations, people in the community, people in acute care to improve this quality of services that they deliver. And that's been my journey so far. In terms of getting in quality improvement, I think what helped me was the zeal I had and that passion to improve services, the not taking things as they were, wanting to change things, wanting to improve what I was doing. Like the quote says, everyone in healthcare has two jobs, to do the work you do and to improve the work that you do. So I think I took that seriously. That's why I decided to do the work I was doing and also improve the quality of the work. And that has led me to where I am. In terms of how I think you can get into quality improvement, my advice is going to be start where you are, start taking that second bit of improving the work you do seriously. When you start doing that, you begin to see opportunities for improvement. Like they always say, the only room that there is room for improvement. There is always room for improvement. So you look out for ways to improve what you're doing, ways to change things, ways to implement new things. And when you're that person that people recognize as someone who wants to always improve things, they would push things to you. They would always ask, for your knowledge. They will always ask for your expertise. Um, Apart from that, you also have to equip yourself with knowledge and skills. So, like I said, I was reading so much about healthcare operational management even before I came for my master's, and that was really what drew me towards studying that in the UK here. So, I was reading operations management, trying to understand how things work, trying to understand how processes work, how people work around systems, how we can improve systems to lead to you know to lead to a desired outcome, and how we can improve the quality of services that we're delivering by tweaking things here and there. And that was what I did. I improved my knowledge, I got more insights, got more understanding of how systems work, did lots of online courses, did certifications here and there, and that helped me to be well positioned when I went to the UK for my master's. During my master's also, I networked, spoke to people, spoke to colleagues, learned a lot of things, and that helped me become a better person suited for the job that I now have. Like I said, it's just you committing to that, being that person that wants to change things, getting your skills and knowledge up, and then going further to do the things that you've always wanted to do. I think no one is going to give you the opportunity unless you decide to step forward and take it by yourself. So that's something that I would recommend always. And be on the lookout there for opportunities. Opportunities are bound everywhere. You only have to look. And if you're looking, definitely you're going to see something. So that's just what I think is my advice to anyone who wants to start in quality improvement. In terms of what quality improvement is itself, it's literally what the word says, quality improvement. How do we improve the quality of the services that we deliver? And what tools do we use in quality improvement? We use lots of tools. We use data, we use SPCs, we use whatever kind of digital tool you know out there we use to improve services. And we also use communication, leadership, empathy, stakeholder buying, process mapping, listening to people, active listening, and sharing of ideas, teaching, coaching, support, and all of those um, skills that you can think of. So if you have, transferable skills from whatever role that you are in currently, if you're a clinician or you're a non-clinical person who's in engineering or whatever field that you have, if you understand how processes work and how you can use improvement knowledge and tools to change that process into a desired outcome, definitely you would have a shot at a career in quality improvement. What would your day-to-day life look like? For me, what my day-to-day life looks like is going into a service or getting a call to come into a service to assess where they are at with their key performance indicators or their quality metrics, looking at what they have at the moment and thinking about how can we move from point A to point B where we want to get to. So what's the current state? How can we do something about that and move us into the desired outcome? We like to use the word 3 R's, which is a tool or a methodology or an approach to improving systems or working around systems. And that's the first R is what we call the reality, which is where we are at currently. The second R is what we call the result, which is where we want to go to. And the last R is what we call the response. So that's 3 R's. So the first R is your reality. What's the current state? What do you have? What's the reality? What's happening in the system? What's the result? Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, thereabout? Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? Where do you want your team to be? What's the performance looking like? What's the picture like for you at that time? And the response, what are you going to do about it? You want to move from a 12 bedded ward with 100% discharge or infection rate, something like that. You want to move from there to a place where you do not have surgical site infection, you do not have cross contamination in the ward, you do not have sharp injury in the ward. You want to have that, and you're thinking, so what do we do? How do we move from point A to point B? How do we set a goal? How do we set an aim? How do we define the measures? How do we then make change ideas to change these things that we are thinking about? So that's what my day-to-day life will look like. So I would, you know, work with a team, usually listening to them, doing like a bit of diagnostics to understand what the problem is. After a series of diagnostic exercise, it could be process mapping, it could be fishbone diagram, it could be whatever, it could be any of a lot of tools that we could use to understand the problem. And when we understand the problem, we then set an aim using the model for improvement, which is the methodology behind lots of improvement concepts. So we then take on that model for improvement to define an aim for that project. And then we go on to set measures. How do we start to measure what we're thinking we want to do? And we then start thinking about what are the actual things that we are going to do to make this improvement work. And we start looking to people, we start looking to other services to learn something from them, to look at what they've done, to look at how we can build on what they've done, how we can learn from what they've done and replicate that in the service for this particular project. When we've done that, we begin the improvement work itself. That would usually take about 6 to 12 weeks thereabout. And while we're doing the improvement work, we would be observing, collecting data that we would need to assess if we're actually getting what we've said we were going to get from this project. And we look at that, analyze that, plot that in probably an SPC chart or a Pareto chart or one of other tools that we have at our disposal. We plot that, we look at what the data is telling us, and then go back to the drawing board to see, is this what we actually planned at the beginning? Is this what we thought we were going to get? Was this the assumptions that we made at the beginning, and are they accurate? Are they right? When we've looked at that, we realized, yes, we've gotten the right response, or we've gotten the right results that we want to get. We then start thinking about what next. So do we adapt this as a new way of working and stop what we were doing before, or do we adopt this, tweak something here and there, or lastly, do we abandon it because it hasn't worked as much as we thought it was going to? And that's literally what we would do on a usual day. So that's one. The other part of my day would probably be crunching data on Excel, looking at SPC charts, looking at Power BI, understanding trends, understanding patterns in data, and then using that to inform the conversations I'm going to be having with clinical leaders or frontline workers in their field or on whatever projects that we're working on together. So that's going to be like what my usual day is. If I'm not doing any of that, I'm literally going to be speaking to people, training people, bringing up their skills to where we want it to be. It could be at a training session or at a bespoke QI fundamentals or QI project lead capability development session, or it could be at induction session where we just walk people through what the concept of QI is, and we then introduce them to the world of QI through playing a game. Yeah, we love playing games a lot. Playing a game, because that's the way you can get people involved in what you're doing and then help them learn some of the lessons firsthand by themselves. Or I'm speaking to hospital leaders about the next project that we want to do. So that is what a day in my life looks like. And I hope to hopefully see you on the other side if you decide to become a quality improvement lead. Thank you very much for the time, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.